Welcome to Satsang.
Hello, Vishrant. Can you please speak about the topic, finding truth in the era of New Age spirituality?
The New Age spirituality is in itself a kind of a religion, and it's very mind-based, survival-orientated. Most of it's just smells and bells without any substance whatsoever, built on superstition and the gullibility of people. From tarot readers through to channelers, people selling the idea of manifesting, people with the idea that there's some quickening happening. These are all just New Age ideas that have no basis in any form of reality. People like to make money. There lies the problem with New Age spirituality, because most of it has no substance whatsoever, and it's easy for the charlatans to take advantage of the gullible. I don't have a great deal of time at all for New Age spirituality because people get lost in it. It's just another mind trip, thinking somehow that they're going to get somewhere, probably being sold something. Truth, or what we truly are, has nothing to do with the mind, has nothing to do with manifesting, has nothing to do with channeling, has nothing to do with tarot reading, has nothing to do with any of the smells and bells that wrap themselves around New Age spirituality. Truth is pristine. Everything appears in it and everything disappears in it. There is no separation in it. The true magic is just being, not anything else, just being. But most humans can't be. They live in their heads thinking, existing in a dream of projections to later and remembrance of the past and analysing what they think is problem solving. This is all rubbish because it's all just thought-based, and thoughts aren't real. The same as the New Age religion is not real. It's thought-based. Truth is real. Beingness is real. Heart is real. What you think about it is not real. There is some degree of reality in the ability to manifest, into the ability to draw things in with the mind, using energy, the manipulation and control of energy. That's more occultism, though, than New Age. It's been around forever and a day. Trying to take New Age ideas off people can be quite difficult, because they think they're real. But this whole game of higher consciousness is about stripping away the false, not about adding more false. You strip away everything that's in the way of higher consciousness. All belief systems, all ideologies, everything. All superstitions, all smells and bells. And you're left with what's real. You come to the present moment and none of that stuff is real. Switch on. Come to the present moment. Leave the mind behind. Be here now. This works. Any questions? Any statements? Any challenges to this teaching today?
The first question, New Age spirituality tends to promote polyamory. Do you think people who do this are spiritual?
Promote what, sorry?
Polyamory?
Heck, what's polyamory?
I think it's like polygamy.
I have no idea. I don't understand the word. I'd need a definition of the word before I can answer that question.
Like polygamy?
It is?
Yeah.
What's the question again then?
So New Age spirituality tends to promote polygamy. Do you think people who do this...
Hang on a second. Does it? Do people in the New Age promote polygamy? I think that's a fallacy in itself. Next part of the question.
Next part was, do you think people who do this are spiritual?
Spiritual, I don't even like the word. You either go for truth or you go for rubbish. If you're going for truth, come to the present moment. Be present to what is real. Who we are, what we are, has nothing to do with the mind, has nothing to do with the body. Before the body was born, we were, and we are now. Find that is aware. Find that is eternal, that's always here. And then you found your own true self. Polygamy, the idea, it's just sexuality, wanting to have sex with more than one partner. There's nothing particularly wrong with it, but it's not going to raise your consciousness levels. It's all lower chakra stuff.
Can crystals help with higher consciousness?
Crystals can be used as amplifiers for amplifying energy. They're used in radio sets. I remember when I was a kid, I made a crystal radio set. So they're good amplifiers. But most people are so scattered in the way they think with their emotionalities, they probably couldn't be able to use crystals properly anyway. To use a crystal to focus anything, you'd need to have a very, very focused mind first.
The next question, what is the most common misconception about enlightenment?
The most common misconception is that you become enlightened. That's the most common. That's not a possibility because you as an I are basically a figment of your own imagination. Without imagination, you as an I cannot exist. What we are is real. Pure awareness, pure consciousness, real. The I can never, ever wake up. It's not real. Awareness becomes aware of itself inside a human being and stays aware of itself. That's enlightenment. Has nothing to do with the ego. As a matter of fact, when that occurs, the ego gets out of the way. It drops. It's seen clearly for what it is, a fake, a fraud.
Do you think that there are angels or entities that are here to guide us towards enlightenment?
I have to put that in the I don't know column. I just don't know. I think it's quite possible that there are entities here, non-corporeal, but I don't know. It seems like there might be.
And is it helpful to try to connect to them?
No. People assume that because they come in contact with an entity, that that entity is wise or has their best interests at heart. How would they know that? They assume that there's enlightened masters out there that are coming through as channels. I doubt it very much. If entities do exist, they're an energy form. And like all energy forms, including human beings, they need food. They need energy to survive. Humans eat food and turn it into energy to survive. Entities need energy as well to survive. If anything, the entities that are around live off the suffering of human beings because it's a high energy form.
The next question has been written by Jur. Hi Vishrant, what do you think of Sadhguru?
No, I don't. I haven't met him. I haven't sat with him. I've listened to a very, very brief talk that he gave once, years and years ago. He could very well be awake. I don't know. I have no attraction whatsoever to other awake teachers. He seems very intelligent. He seems to say the right things, but I don't know. Until you actually sit with someone and feel the energy field they're putting out, you don't know. He could very well be awake. He could very well be a great teacher. I just don't know. If you haven't sat with someone, if you haven't been in their presence, you don't know, because anyone can pretend to be awake. Anyone can have the right mannerisms, say the right things, but that doesn't make them awake. It just means they're good at saying the right things, having the right mannerisms. Someone who's awake has a Buddha field around them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's how you can tell if someone's awake. And with Sadhguru, he may very well be. I don't know. I haven't sat in his presence.
Next, you have a question from Peter.
Hello, Peter.
Vishrant, how are you? I had a question, but it's just totally gone away. Whenever I'm listening to you, it just completely blows me away. Such an honor to talk to you. Oh yes.
Peter, when I was a seeker, I just wanted to talk to my teachers because I was aware of the energy field they were carrying, and I was in love with that energy field. And so I understand wanting to talk to someone who's awake. I really do. I was the guy who always had his hand up, always.
I know. I've actually been working on myself quite a lot. I've been swimming in cold water in the sea to help the trauma, like in Vancouver, in 5-6 degree water every day.
Yeah,
because you suggested cold showers, and instead I've just been snorkeling in the sea without a wetsuit for 2 months. And
very cool.
it just seems to be helping with releasing all the trauma and everything. But my question is, this connection that I'm feeling right now with you is which is just blowing my whole body away. How would I be able to connect to you, to this, when I'm away shooting or something like that, so that I don't have to just be on this call asking you questions?
Okay. So when I was with Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh as a sannyasin, I had a mala with his picture on it. And any time I wanted to feel him, I would look at the picture on the mala and it would tune me in because I was already in love with him. I was already connected with him. I was one of his sannyasins. And to tune into him, to connect with him, I'd just hold my mala and go quiet and look at it. And it connected me in. Because we think of distance as reality, but beingness is everywhere, and we are that. And so there's no such thing as distance. Like you're in Vancouver and I'm in Perth, West Australia, and we're connected. That's at least 10,000 kilometres. There's no distance in beingness. All you've got to do is tune in.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I'll do that.
With your story about the water, the ocean, that was my thing as well. I loved it being in the ocean, and I snorkeled. I got my C-class license as a diver using tanks when I was 10 years old. I was absolutely fascinated by the ocean. I considered it the healing mother because it does. It takes all the energy off you. It takes all the darkness out of you. I agree.
Oh, it's been amazing. I mean, I can't even tell you. I've been going down every day. It's like something's been calling me to go into the water, and sometimes I've been going as long as 30 minutes, which is too long. I almost got hypothermia the other day. So I've been averaging around about 10 minutes in 5 to 6 degree water, and I've been putting my head under as well. And it seems to just be sucking all the trauma out of my system. It's unbelievable.
I'm very happy for you, Peter. The thing about trauma is don't repeat it. Well, one of the things with trauma is usually it has belief systems around it, and those belief systems actually protect it and keep it going. And the main belief systems that keeps it going is victim-oriented thinking you are ever a victim of anything. And so those things need to be undone as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I can feel your energy so strong today. So something's working. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Nice to talk to you, Peter. Enjoy your filming.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, Vishrant.
The next question is from Neil.
Hello, Vishrant.
Hello, Nick.
Yeah. So my question is, like, when you were under the presence of your spiritual teachers, like, did you completely agree with everything that was shared by your teachers, or were there certain things that you disagreed with?
I didn't have a problem at all with Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. I never, ever found a disagreement in what he was saying or what he was doing. I understood that he would contradict himself from time to time, but that was because he was talking to someone different in a different moment. And so it was appropriate what he was doing in that moment. With some of my Advaita Vedanta teachers, I wasn't completely impressed with some of their behaviors, but because they had the energy field, the Buddha field, I knew that in that field of energy, I could dissolve and I could find myself as truth. And so with those particular teachers who weren't always walking their talk, so to speak, I would just sit in their presence and allow myself to expand and find myself as the everythingness to nothingness, because they had the energy field. When I examined how they were living their lives, I noticed that sometimes they were suffering. And someone who's fully enlightened doesn't suffer because they're surrendered. So they hadn't really come completely home yet. They're on the way, but somewhere they were caught, possibly in money, possibly in sexuality, possibly in power. And so there was a little bit of work that they still needed to do to let go of things. But it didn't worry me, even though I could see that. It didn't worry me because I could feel the Buddha field around them when I was with them in Satsang. And I knew how precious that was, how valuable that was to me as a seeker. It dissolved my coping mechanisms. It allowed my mind to expand. It opened my crown chakra, my third eye, my heart. It was brilliant.
Right. And there are certain things, even when I listen to Osho, that I find hard to grasp, like the concept of karma, reincarnation, chakras, because I've never experienced these things. So how should I approach these things?
Anything that it's not your own direct experience, approach with doubt and put it in the maybe column. And so don't discount it completely, put it in the maybe column. And this is the approach I had to everything regarding spirituality, because there's so much absolute bull dust in spirituality. You've got to approach it with doubt. If something's not your own direct experience, your own direct knowing, put it in the doubt column. And this is the way of the seeker, to find out for themselves, to not believe anything. The moment we start believing things, we are lost. We're imprisoned by beliefs. Doubt. Doubt everything. Doubt me. Particularly, doubt me. Find out for yourself. Look where I'm pointing and find out for yourself.
All right. Yep, that was it. Thank you, Vishrant.
Nice.
The next question is from Susha.
Hello, Susha.
Hi, Bhagwan. Somebody just asked you about using crystals, and you said you would have to learn to focus your energies. What does that mean? Focus your energies. Is that the same as focusing your mind?
Yeah, in a way. So a person wants something. Let's say they want a new car. And they decide that they want to draw that in through manifestation. So they put up a thing inside their mind, I want that new car. And they focus on that they want the new car. And they focus on the colour of the car, the type of car, the year of the car, the condition of the car. And so they're getting quite a strong focus happening on what they want. At the same time, they may be running a fear. Oh, I might not be able to get that. I might not have enough money. I might not have this. I might not have that. And so fear comes into play. Now they're so scattered, any form of manifesting they're doing is not going to work. See, if you want something and you want to use the mind to get it in the form of manifesting, you have to just want that. You can't have any other side thoughts taking it apart, dismissing it, diminishing it. You can't be scattered. You have to be focused.
Would that work for wanting beingness?
Wanting beingness is it won't bring you beingness, but what it will do is it'll put you in a position where you're willing to do what it takes to find it. So without that want of beingness, or without that thirst for beingness, there isn't any. It's probably not going to happen, because the price is pretty high. You have to sacrifice you.
Yes. So really manifesting for things, that's not what seekers are about, are we?
No, that's right. But I'll answer just about any question that people ask me.
I'll ask you a question just to talk to you. Thank you so much, Bhagwan.
Nice to talk to you, Susha.
Likewise, always. Thank you.
Next, Abay has a question.
Hello, Abay.
Bhagwan. Bhagwan, is chanting or singing bhajans any kind of helpful? Are they helpful?
They can be, in that they can bring your mind to a single point, particularly if it's a repetitive bhajan. On the other hand, most bhajans are also devotional. They're usually singing the praises of God or something like that. That can ignite the heart. It can open the mind and open the heart. And so they do work.
There are some songs which are not exactly bhajan songs, they are movie songs, but but they do make me feel good and feel open.
Yeah, well, anything that opens you up and allows you to perceive love is worthy, basically. Love is the true jewel of consciousness. It's beautiful.
Thank you, Bhagwan.
Thank you.
The next question is from Jyoti.
Hello.
Hi, Vishrant, except I'm not Jyoti anymore.
No, you're Alaya.
That's right. I am loving Alaya.
That was a very beautiful song you sent me. You sent me, it sounded like the person was singing Alaya.
Yeah, it was so fascinating. Pooja reminded me, and I was just, I mean, first of all, my energy was just through the roof and has been all day. And yeah, so I invited you all to dance with me to that. So hopefully people took me up on that, because I was.
I put it on, I turned it on and listened to it last night. And it was just, wow, what a beautiful song.
I'm so glad you liked it. So glad. Yeah. So I have a quick, I wanted to share an experience that I had, and I just wanted to get your take on it if you could. So the other night I had laid down, I was getting ready for bed, trying to fall asleep. And I started focusing on my breathing. And then, I don't know, maybe 5-10 minutes into it, I was completely relaxed. And all of a sudden, my awareness, it's like the power to my mind, it's like somebody had unplugged my mind. It was just poof, gone. And I was aware that it was gone. And I don't think it lasted more than a few minutes because I panicked. Like I thought, oh my God, am I having a stroke? Like, where'd my mind go? I lost my mind. But it was so profound. It was completely just off. And so I was just curious, you know, what would you make of it, something like that?
Okay. So I started meditating formally when I was 28 years old. And it didn't take me that long to start finding no mind, where I was there, but the mind wasn't there. And that's when the quest for enlightenment began, because I realized I was there, but the mind wasn't there. Therefore, I couldn't be the mind. So if I'm not the mind, what am I? What am I really? And eventually, the understanding that was aware of the mind was my own true nature, and that's what needed to find itself. And so you got a taste of no mind and the beauty of that. And it sounded like it was a pretty profound event for you. And that's great. Now the question is, what's aware? What's aware of the no mind? What's aware of the mind? What's aware of the thoughts? What's aware of the space between the thoughts? What's aware is the question. Because what's aware is who we are.
Yeah, it was, definitely. I mean, when, you know, sitting in meditation, and sometimes you have those little brief gaps, you know, and so that had been as far as my experience with little tiny little milliseconds of no mind, I guess, but this was certainly more. And yeah, so next time, let's see if there is a next time. Hopefully there will be, as we practice, to just not panic.
It's also possible you're experiencing a small satori where awareness was aware of itself to some degree. Just keep looking Just keep looking for the same space, witness the mind, self-inquire, relax. It always happens in a relaxed mind. It never happens in an uptight mind. Relaxed mind is the way to go. See if you can't find that rising in love.
That's my mission.
Well, as a Sikh, you're a disciple.
Yeah, yeah.
And the aim of the disciple is to know themselves as truth.
I love it. Thank you so much, Vishrant. I'm just over the moon. Yep, we're going to keep going.
Bye-bye, Alaya.
Bye.
The next question has been written by Andre on YouTube. Hello.
Would that be Andre?
Yeah, but it's written like a Japanese way.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's why it's Andre.
So
It
it
might
could,
be Andre.
could be konnichiwa.
It could be.
Okay.
The question is,
Well, bonjour.
hello, Vishrant. I can't quite understand why me as awareness cannot perceive what others do. Is consciousness somewhat localized in the body?
Ask the question again.
I can't quite understand why me as awareness cannot perceive what others do. Is consciousness somewhat localized in the body?
Ask the first part of the question again.
I can't quite understand why me as awareness cannot perceive what others do.
I think you're projecting onto awareness. Awareness is our nature. I think you're talking about the awareness of the mind, not awareness as in beingness. I think there's a misunderstanding here. Ask the whole question again.
I can't quite understand why me as awareness cannot perceive what others do. Is consciousness somewhat localized in the body?
Pure awareness is everywhere. It is the mind that does the interpreting. It is the mind that does the analyzing. It's the mind that witnesses and records it. But pure awareness doesn't do anything, it just is. And we are that. I think there's some confusion here. Anything else, Tosh?
There's another question by Mona. Does age or aging have an impact on enlightenment?
Not on enlightenment. On the mind and the body it does. Not on enlightenment. Pure awareness is not touched by anything because it's never born and it cannot die. And so there is no detriment to enlightenment with age. The mind itself finds it harder to change default patterns as it gets older because its default patterns are hardwired for longer. And some of those default patterns may be in the way of enlightenment, in the way of heart. And so they're harder to change. They say that it's hard to teach old dogs new tricks. Well, there's a certain truth in that. But it's absolutely possible if you persevere. As far as what happens in enlightenment as you get older, the mind tends to disappear more and more and more. You find that it's not there very often. Because we're not the mind, we're pure beingness. We're always here. Everyone's at their final destination. They just don't know it because they're not aware of it. What they're aware of is the mind, and the mind suffers, projects, remembers, analyzes, and people think they're that, but that's not who we are. It's not what we are. We're that's aware of the mind. We're that is simply aware, and we are always here.
Next, we have a question from Jur.
Hi, Vishrant.
Hi.
You mentioned that the price for enlightenment is sacrificing yourself.
Yeah.
Did you ever regret in any shape or form making that sacrifice? Or do you even now see it as a sacrifice after enlightenment?
I don't see it as a sacrifice now, not at all. And I have never, ever for a moment had a regret at the decision my mind made to basically give itself in unconditional surrender to truth or God. And it died. It was 22 years ago, coming this end of this May, I died. And there hasn't been anybody here since. There's a sense of nothing here, nobody here. Whereas before awakening, there was always a sense of a somebody doing something. Now there's no sense of a somebody being here or doing anything. And so there's no regret, because that thing that died, the Vishrant that died, wasn't who I was. And it was basically like everybody else, a suffering machine, constantly desiring things to be different than how they are or were, and being attached to the things that it thought it had, and being fearful of losing them. Well, that all went. That was really good. But as long as you think that you're an I, you're caught in that. You're caught in desires and attachments. You're caught in suffering. The only freedom from that is to know self as truth, is for awareness to turn on itself and stay aware of itself. That is freedom from knowing yourself as a mind, knowing yourself as a body, which is it's a prison, actually, the bars of which are made of fear. So definitely no regrets. But that's from the mind's perspective. From beingness's perspective, nothing matters. Never does, because it doesn't judge.
Okay, good to hear. I mean, from the mind's perspective, I'm still way too identified with the mind. It really feels like dying.
It is. That's what happens. You go towards enlightenment and you as an I are dying. That's actually what happens. And that's why terror can arise, because terror is just a defensive act on the mind's behalf to protect it.
So is meditation like just a gradual easing into it, so that it's not like a shock to the system? Or
I would say that's true. I started meditating when I was 28 and started finding no mind, and realizing that, well, it wasn't the mind. I couldn't be. I was just here, and there was no mind here. There was no thinking. And so, yeah, that definitely helped when it came to the ultimate surrender, knowing full well that what was surrendering, what was dying, had nothing to do with who I was. Not really. Or what I was is a better way of putting it.
okay, thank you for clarifying this.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Good question. Thank you.
Thanks again.
The next question is from Peter.
Back again. Oh, sorry, Vishrant. I'm being greedy today. I'm just wanting to ask, actually, in continuation with what Dur was saying. I think it's Dur. Sorry, the name. The chap before. There seems to be a point where meditating is meditating me. Like this energy that I'm feeling in my body now while I'm talking to you it comes over me sometimes, but to a lesser extent while I'm working or whatever, and I'm aware that it's kind of pulling me into the present moment, and my mind just stops. And how, maybe if I can formulate this into a question, how can I integrate that very powerful energy into everything I do so that it uses everything that I am to just flow in that present moment, if you know what I mean?
The funny thing is, Peter, it already does.
Right.
That's the cosmic joke. We just think we have control. We just think that we can do things. Everything is God. Everything is being done by God. Everything.
Yeah. Yes. And it
So-
seems to be like little tightening loops that come back again and again, and they I'm finding that they sometimes are very, very painful, because I think I don't know, they feel like they're almost mixed up with that old trauma and old whatever that I was saying the cold water seems to be helping my brain with. But just to stay in that point is so hard. And with you, it's unbelievably easy. Like, I'm here now and I'll be buzzing for hours and hours after I talk to you. But without that, it's like I'm plugged into a battery charger talking to you. but after this, oh man, I'm on my own again. And then those demons come back, especially early in the morning, to haunt me. And I have to just sit with them, like, okay, and don't chase them away. Just sit with them. And it's like an onion. There's layers and layers.
Okay. So I can tell you this. One of my teachers, who I never met but I studied, was Papaji, Advaita Vedanta teacher, disciple of Ramana Maharshi. And Papaji, when he was younger, was in the military. And at night time, he used to dress up in women's clothes and dance for Krishna because he was so devoted to Krishna. And I always found that quite funny until I actually had a look at my own life and recognized what facilitated enlightenment. And it was really quite simple. I gave God my suffering. I gave God my pleasures. I gave God absolutely everything and left nothing in my hands.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. That's what I'm going to do. Is when that comes, I'm just going to give it back. Just give it back. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Peter.
The next question is from Depeche.
Hello, Depeche.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Namaste.
Namaste.
My question is that I try to be aware more and more. Last year I talked to you. It's more and more changing because I am applying the things. But one thing, it is keeping me confused that when we practice, sometimes when I am not aware, mind is completely overtaken me. But I realized after 15 minutes, after 20 minutes, that it has completely overtaken me. And sometimes some fear comes, and again, I try to be conscious. So what should I do in this condition? I should just, it is okay that I have driven by the mind, because sometimes it goes for hours.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how many times you fail. What matters is how many times you try again. Because it's in failing that we learn. We learned how to walk by failing. We didn't learn by successes, but by failing. And when it comes to higher consciousness and turning awareness to itself, or even being present to what is real, we learn by practice and we learn by failures. Never give yourself a hard time for failing. It is okay. Accept the failure and try again. Be kind to yourself.
Okay. And I have another one question, that it is just a curiosity, that whenever I am practicing, I found me as a part of the story, and everything is turning around. So is it normal that is turning around? It is taking every time me as a part of the story, and it is going revolving, and I am dreaming. And suddenly I think, oh, it is not. So it is the problem. That is the mind.
What is aware of that is of relevance. What is aware of that occurring? That is relevant. What the mind does is irrelevant. What's aware of that happening? Follow the I thought back to the source. What is aware of the mind doing what it's doing? Whatever the mind does is irrelevant. But what's aware of that? That's important. What's this that is always aware, that is always here? What's this?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The next question is from Tiagna.
Hi, Tiagna.
Hello, hi Vishrant.
Have you been causing trouble for your mother-in-law again?
I don't know. The problem with me is that I don't even know when I've caused trouble.
Uh-huh.
So I just had a question. Like, I watch my cat every day, and I see that he's very like present in the moment, and I think that's the case with all animals. So is it that they're like part of beingness or something? Like you say that consciousness is everywhere. So are they connected to that?
Well, animals don't tend to dream like humans, so they tend to be more present. Wild animals in particular, like foxes or wolves, are very, very present animals. You find that animals like cows and sheep aren't so present.
Yeah.
But if we really want to live this life totally and fully, we need to become like a wolf or a fox, very present to what is real. And then we're living in reality instead of living in a dream in our minds.
Yeah, so the problem, I guess, the problem with humans is obviously the brain, the mind, that makes us dream. And animals don't have that because they don't have the capacity to think like us.
No.
Mm.
But as humans, we can become very present to reality as well. Because our lives are so safe and so comfortable, we tend to live in our thoughts, in dream. But if we're going to raise our consciousness levels, we need to get back to being more present to what is real rather than present to dream.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that when I'm in your presence, but then it goes away. It goes away, and sometimes I do feel it on my own. If I'm like, I've noticed sometimes if I'm walking by myself just in nature, it sometimes happens that I experience no mind.
It's not necessarily experiencing no mind. I'm talking about being present to what is real. And so I don't know what's around you at the moment, but whatever is in front of you is real. What you think about it is not. And so when we put our awareness on what is in front of us and what we hear, we're putting our awareness on what is real. If we're thinking about it, we're lost in dream.
Yeah, but that's the issue. Like if I'm looking around, like let's say I'm looking at a tree, I will have some thought about it, like, oh, it's such a beautiful tree. And then that's when I'm not in reality anymore.
That's right. You've left reality. It's like watching a sunset and then commenting on it. The moment you comment on it, you've left reality to some degree because you've started dreaming about the sun.
Yeah, exactly that. It's also just the chattering of the mind, because I'm quite like I have a lot of energy and I'm very talkative, and that sort of, I guess it's just I don't know, it makes me think too much.
No. If you practice being present to reality, you can still be very talkative, just you'll be more present to reality, like a wolf rather than a sheep.
Yeah, I'm maybe redirecting my energy, I think.
Yeah, or direct your energy towards what is real rather than towards what is not.
Yeah. Thank you, Vishrant. I had another question too. So you say that everything is karmic.
Okay.
And I always wonder, like, what is karmic? Like, is it our actions? Is it our words? Is it our thoughts? Like, what if we think?
All of those things, all of them, everything. Our thoughts, our words, our actions, there's always karma involved in them. Whatever we put into life, we get back. And so when you're around your mother-in-law, you should be a little bit quieter because your loudness disturbs her. She came on the other day and had a bit of a complaint about you. I hear you're moving out soon.
Yes, I am.
Ah.
I think that's best for all of us.
Nice talking to you, Dal.
Thank you, Vishrant. Thank you.
The next question is from Shaina.
Hi, Shaina.
Hello, Vish. If I'm being completely honest with myself,
Oh my God! I mean, sometimes.
Sometimes I'm in denial.
I love it when you say things like that. If I'm being completely honest, does that indicate that a lot of the time you're not being honest?
Possibly. That my beloved is within me, and I am the love that I seek.
But they're ideas.
Well,
ideas aren't real. They're not reality.
the love that I feel when I'm in deep presence, that love is real.
That's real, yes. But what you think about it's not.
Yeah.
There's the problem, because we have trouble discerning the difference between what is real and what is not, and nothing you think is real.
Yeah.
Love is real.
Is it a default pattern or belief system or both? No, that
It's just you've practiced. You've practiced living in your head, like the rest of us who went to school. You've practiced living in your head, so you live in your head. You live in thoughts rather than reality, because that's what you've practiced.
Is it that sometimes has the power to bring the thought that love is outside of us?
Say that again, that last bit.
That love is outside of us. Is it?
Well, in fact, in a way, from the mind's perspective, from the eye's perspective, it is outside, because the eye sees everything as outside. That's duality. The mind sees itself as separate from everything. But that's not the truth. The truth is we are everything. We're not separate at all. But the mind sets itself up as something that is separate, even though it's not.
Okay. Would you say that love is the highest vibration?
Vibrations appear in beingness. And so when we're talking about high and low, you can't talk about them in beingness because beingness is everything. You can't have polarities in beingness. You can't have any form of duality in beingness, not really, because it's everything. And so when you talk about a high or a low vibration in beingness, everything is beingness. Everything is beingness. And so you're still thinking in forms of duality when you're talking about high and low. You're still looking at things from the perspective of duality. We are non-dual. We are everything.
Mm. I had an experience quite a while back now, but it was after meditation where just this overwhelming sensation of love that I don't think it'd be possible to function. It was that intense, and I haven't experienced it like that since, but I just wondered.
That's because you're not used to it. I'm sure you'd get used to it.
Absolutely.
Love is very beautiful. And it's actually always here. It's just that we cut ourselves off from the perception of it through our defendedness, through our closures, our resistance to light. It's always here. It's always beautiful. Depends what your mind was being affected by as well as love at the time.
Nothing, no external substance. Thank you, Vish.
Nice talking to you, Shayna.
Likewise.
Following question is from a viewer. Is it okay to lie sometimes?
Is it okay to lie sometimes? Now we're walking into right, wrong, good and bad. It's not a world I live in. I live in whatever is. Whatever is meant to be, otherwise it wouldn't be so. I don't live in this world of right, wrong, good and bad. That's the world of let's suffer. I live in a world where everything is happening as it's meant to be happening, otherwise it wouldn't be happening. In that world, my mind rests. There's no tension, there's no uptightness when things perceivably go wrong because it's meant to be so. Otherwise it wouldn't be happening. Everything's cool. You're cool. Once the mind masters the idea of acceptance, it can truly relax. Acceptance is the way we learn unconditional surrender. But it's not that practiced, but it should be, because it's the cure-all of everything. Once you accept life as it is, life is beautiful. Thank you for Satsang. Good to see you brave hearts here today.